Welcome to Global Investment Insights, a weekly podcast brought to you by ADCB Asset Management. My name is Kishore Muktinutalapati, Head of Investment Strategy. With an objective to empower you with investment insights, on this program we discuss various perspectives that are shaping the global investment landscape. When we put together our 2023 annual outlook in early January, we saw the US debt ceiling related issues as a key political risk. Subsequently, on 19 January, the US actually hit its debt limit, and the implications of this might be felt quite broadly by summer this year. The Congress failing to act on time could cause the US to default, and this is the key risk. While episodes of a last-minute deal avoiding a default are not new, we think the odds that a potential US default could occur are higher this time around. To start with, let's first understand what the US debt limit means. As defined and described by the US Department of the Treasury, the debt limit is the total amount of money that the United States government is authorized to borrow to meet its existing legal obligations, including Social Security and Medicare benefits, military salaries, interest on the national debt, tax refunds, and other payments. The debt limit does not authorize new spending commitments. It simply allows the government to finance existing legal obligations that Congresses and presidents of both parties have made in the past. Once reached, failing to increase the debt limit would have catastrophic economic consequences. It would cause the government to default on its legal obligations, an unprecedented event in American history. That would precipitate another financial crisis and threaten the jobs and savings of everyday Americans, putting the United States right back in a deep economic hole just as the country is grappling with weak economic growth. Now, looking at history, Congress has always acted when called upon to raise the debt limit. After all, congressional leaders in both parties have recognized that this is necessary. Just for the context, since 1960, Congress has acted a total 78 separate times to permanently raise, temporarily extend, or revise the definition of the debt limit. This happened 49 times under Republican presidents and 29 times under Democratic presidents. This was always important because the US pursued a countercyclical macro policy where the fiscal outlays were more than the fiscal receipts, and the resultant deficit was always funded by debt. As a result, the US total government debt as a share of GDP has more than doubled over the past 20 years. Also, given the recent rise in interest rates, US net interest payments as a share of GDP are currently at the highest level since the late 1990s. Looking at the current episode, as mentioned earlier, the US hit its debt limit on 19th of January. However, cash management measures buy some time before the US Treasury completely runs out of cash. The date on which this happens is referred to as the X date. This X date is a moving target and is estimated by the US Treasury to be early June, while other think tanks estimate that Treasury may not run out of cash till July or August. Whatever, X date is likely to arrive with the summer. As I mentioned earlier, history is full of episodes where once the debt limit was reached, Congress acted to raise the ceiling, thereby taking off some of the real bad outcomes like a US default. However, in most cases, it was not without a great drama that a potential deal was reached in the Congress. This time too, we do expect a long drama to play out before the US debt limit is relaxed. Yet, there are some aspects indicating that the chances of a US debt limit deal being not reached in time are higher than usual. Most of these are political. Think about the Republican hardliners and the divided House of Representatives, the issue becomes clear. On the Republican side, Speaker Kevin McCarthy signaled that he and his fellow Republicans would seek to use the debt limit standoff to enact spending cuts and to reduce the national debt. On the Democratic side, President Joe Biden has repeatedly said that he will refuse to negotiate over the debt limit and the Congress must vote to raise it with no strings attached. These stances indicate that both parties are motivated to push the negotiations till the last minute. This risks a repeat of 2011, when the debt impasse resulted in the US credit rating being downgraded and markets experiencing increased volatility. We define this as our worst case scenario, but with higher probability than usual. Looking at the performances 6 months prior to the event to the 6 months after the event of a US rating downgrade in 2011, bonds outperformed equities. Within bonds, US investment grade outperformed both sovereigns and high yield credit. Within US Treasuries, yields on short-dated paper rose as the X date approached, while the yields on long-term bonds fell. Turning to equities, US outperformed its international counterparts. Sectoral equity performances showed preference for a defensive tilt. Across assets, sticking with quality factor helped in the outperformance. In summary, US debt ceiling debates are likely to heat up as summer approaches. We're working with a base case that an eventual deal will be reached just in time to avoid a US default. However, the chances that a deal may not come in time and the US defaults on its obligations are higher than usual. From investors' perspective, sticking with quality segments across assets over the next 6 months is the most prudent thing to do. Thanks for listening. We hope you found this podcast useful. If you did, please do share this and other episodes with family, friends, and colleagues. For more information, please reach out to your contact at ADCB. You can also log on to our website at www.adcbam.com. This is Kishore Muktinutalapati, signing off.